Have you ever felt like you're just not a priority to the people around you? Maybe you've done something great, shared a brilliant idea, or gone out of your way to help someone only to find your efforts met with indifference or even outright disregard. I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're doing all the right things. You're showing up, you're being supportive, and you're making yourself available. But despite your best efforts, it can still feel like you're invisible, like your true value is being overlooked. It's a frustrating and disheartening place to be, particularly when the people involved are those you hold closest, family, friends, or a partner. You might start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why don't they see my worth? The good news is, you're not alone in this feeling, and more importantly, there are ways to change this narrative. Today, we're diving into 9 powerful psychological strategies that can help you become a priority in others' lives and get the recognition you deserve. These strategies aren't just about changing how others see you. They're about transforming how you see yourself and your place in their lives. They're grounded in both modern psychology and ancient Stoic wisdom, offering practical advice that you can implement in your everyday interactions to build stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationships. Let's dive in. Strategy 1: the art of strategic absence. Our first strategy is what I like to call the art of strategic absence. This involves creating a sense of scarcity around your presence, making it something that others come to value more because it isn't always readily available. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't this just playing games? Isn't it manipulative to make yourself less available on purpose? But bear with me, because there's a subtle but crucial distinction here. This strategy isn't about manipulating or deceiving others. It's about recognizing a fundamental truth about human behavior. We often take for granted what is always there, assuming it will always be available. This principle is hardwired into our psychology. It's why people often don't realize the value of something or someone until it's no longer there. The Stoics were well aware of this human tendency. They taught the importance of appreciating what we have in the present moment, recognizing that nothing in life is guaranteed. Epictetus, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, emphasized this idea when he said, "Don't be prideful with any excellence that is not your own." In other words, don't get too attached to things outside your control, including other people's attention and affection. How does this translate to making yourself a priority? It's about creating a subtle shift in the dynamic of your relationships. If you're always available, always ready to respond, people may start to take your presence for granted. On the other hand, if you occasionally pull back, just a little, you introduce a new element into the relationship: scarcity. Absolutely. Here's the elaborated version of the practical tips for strategic absence section in a voiceover format. All right, now that we understand the why behind the art of strategic absence, let's get into the how. How can you apply this concept in your daily life to start seeing those changes in how people prioritize you? Tip number 1, dial back the communication. First up, let's talk about dialing back your communication. If you're someone who texts a friend or a partner 10 times a day, I'm not suggesting you cut off all contact or play some disappearing act. This isn't about ghosting. It's about being less predictable and more intentional with how often you reach out. Think about it like this. If every morning you're the one who sends that good morning text, or you're always the first to say, "What's up?" over time, it becomes an expectation, not an effort. People start to assume you'll always be there. And when something is always there, it's easy to take it for granted. So instead, try cutting back a little. If you're texting 10 times a day, reduce it to 5. You'll be amazed at what this subtle shift can do. You're creating a bit of space, a bit of room for curiosity to grow. You're encouraging them to reach out to you, to think, hey, I haven't heard from them today. I wonder what they're up to. It's about creating a healthy sense of intrigue, something that keeps them thinking about you, even when you're not there. By being less predictable, you're making each interaction more meaningful. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about making sure your presence is felt even in your absence. Tip number 2, let them initiate plans. Next, let's talk about the plans you make. If you're always the one planning everything, whether it's grabbing a coffee, catching a movie, or even just going for a walk, pause for a moment. Step back and give them the chance to step forward. When you let someone else initiate plans, you're shifting the dynamic. You're giving them the opportunity to demonstrate their interest in spending time with you. It's a small but powerful change. Think of it like this. When someone takes the initiative, it shows they value your time together. It shows they're willing to put in the effort to see you. And you know what's fascinating? When you stop being the one who always reaches out first, you might notice a few things. Maybe they'll start texting you, hey, are you free this weekend? Or, I was thinking we could check out that new restaurant. These little moments are golden because they're showing you where you stand in their life. You're not stepping back to play games. You're stepping back to give them the space to show that they care. Tip number 3, maintain a bit of mystery. And finally, let's talk about mystery. In our world today, it's so easy to overshare. With social media, we're often posting every meal, every thought, every mundane detail. But here's the thing. When everything is laid out on the table, there's no room left for curiosity. And curiosity is powerful. You don't need to spill every detail of your day or share every thought that crosses your mind. Keep some things to yourself. And no, I'm not saying be secretive or deceptive. It's more about preserving a sense of intrigue. Think of it this way. When you're reading a book or watching a movie, isn't it the unanswered questions that keep you hooked? The same principle applies to human relationships. By maintaining a bit of mystery, you're giving others a reason to stay interested, to want to learn more about you. Share, yes, but don't overshare. Let people get to know you at a pace that leaves them intrigued and wanting more. Remember, it's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about creating a dynamic where your presence is valued and your absence is noticed. Start applying these tips today and see how the balance in your relationships begins to shift. You might just find yourself becoming a priority, not an option. When you start to pull back, it triggers something in the other person's brain. They might start to wonder, why aren't they texting me as much? Why are they less available? And that's where the fear of missing out, FOMO, kicks in. They begin to realize they might be losing something valuable, and they start to see your time and attention as precious commodities. Here are some real-life examples of how to maintain mystery. The busy friend. We all have that one friend who's always on the go with a packed schedule. Their time feels special because they're not always available, making their presence more valued when you do get to spend time with them. The social media detox. Think about when someone you follow takes a break from social media. You notice their absence, right? Sometimes it even prompts you to reach out and check on them. That's FOMO in action. Dating dynamics, playing hard to get when done right, isn't about being aloof or disinterested. It's about showing someone that you have a life of your own and that you're not just waiting around for them. It signals that you're a valuable person with your own priorities, which can be incredibly attractive. Like any powerful tool, strategic absence should be used wisely. pull back too much, and you risk pushing the other person away completely. It's all about balance. Remember, the goal isn't to manipulate or control someone. It's to create a dynamic where both parties feel valued and appreciated. As contemporary Stoic philosopher William B. Irvine puts it, the goal of Stoicism is to live a happy life. And one way to do this is to avoid becoming overly dependent on things that are outside our control. So go ahead and create a bit of strategic absence in your relationships. You might be surprised at how it shifts the dynamic and brings you the attention and prioritization you deserve. Strategy 2. Avoid the always available trap. Our next strategy is closely related to the first, but with a different focus. Avoid being always available. Being supportive and present is crucial, especially for the people you care about. But there's a fine line between being supportive and being a doormat. Let's think about this through the lens of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics were deeply aware of how our behaviors can influence the dynamics of our relationships. They understood that when something is always available, it can become undervalued. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, noted, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Essentially, he was talking about the preciousness of time. When you're always available, always at someone's beck and call, you're sending the message that your time isn't important, that it can be freely given away without much thought or consideration. In relationships, just like in economics, the laws of supply and demand apply. When something is scarce, its value goes up. When something is abundant, its value tends to go down. If you're always available, people might start to see you as a commodity rather than as a person with valuable limited time. But if you're a bit more selective with your availability, if you make people work a little harder to get your attention, they'll start to appreciate it more. Set clear boundaries. Respect your own time and energy by setting clear boundaries. This doesn't mean you should become completely unavailable or aloof, but rather that you should find a healthy balance. You can still be there for those you care about, but make sure you're not overextending yourself. Prioritize your commitments. Be mindful of how you prioritize your commitments. Ask yourself, is this something I genuinely want to do, or am I doing it because I feel obligated? If it's the latter, consider saying no. Respect your own time. Remember, your time is valuable. Don't be afraid to assert that. Make time for your own interests and well-being, and don't feel guilty about it. The overbooked calendar. We all know someone who's always booked solid. It's hard to get on their calendar, and because of that, any time spent with them feels more special and valued. The exclusive club. Have you ever noticed how exclusive clubs or events are more desirable? They're not open to just anyone. There's a sense of scarcity, which makes people want to be a part of it even more. The same principle applies to your time and attention. Limited time. Offers in marketing. Marketers use scarcity all the time to create a sense of urgency. Limited time offers trigger FOMO and make people more likely to take action. This isn't much different from how human relationships work. The Stoics would argue that being overly available can lead to emotional turmoil. When you're always at someone else's disposal, you're giving them the power to dictate your emotions and well-being. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By setting boundaries and prioritizing your own needs, You're taking back control of your life and your emotions. You're not letting others dictate your happiness or sense of self-worth. Remember, it's all about finding the right balance. You want to be there for the people you care about, but you also need to respect your own time and energy. Don't be afraid to say no sometimes, and don't feel guilty about prioritizing your own needs. As the contemporary Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday puts it, the single most important practice in Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we can't, what we have influence over and what we do not. Start setting those boundaries, prioritize your well-being, and watch your value in the eyes of others rise. You're not just anyone, you're a valuable individual with a limited amount of time and energy. Treat yourself accordingly, and others will follow suit. Embrace the mystery. Our third strategy is to embrace the mystery. This is about maintaining a bit of intrigue, being someone who has a hidden depth, a story yet untold. People are naturally drawn to those who aren't an open book, to those who have layers to uncover. Now, I'm not suggesting that you transform into a secretive figure lurking in the shadows, whispering cryptic messages. But there is power in holding some things back, in keeping a few cards close to your chest. And the Stoics understood this well. They believed in focusing on what was within their control, including their own thoughts and actions. Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most powerful communication is silence. It allows space for others to fill in the gaps, to create their own narratives, and to become more invested in the process of getting to know you. In today's world, where oversharing has become the norm, mystery stands out. We're constantly documenting every meal, every thought, every mundane detail of our lives on social media. But what happens when everything is laid out on the table? There's no room for imagination or intrigue. It's like a magician revealing all their tricks before the show even starts. The magic is gone, the wonder dissipates. You don't have to share every detail of your life with everyone. Some things are meant to be kept for yourself. Let people uncover who you are gradually, layer by layer. It's a slower reveal, but that's where the intrigue begins. When someone asks you a question, you don't have to give them everything. A simple, "I'll tell you more about that later," sparks curiosity. It leaves them wanting to know more. That anticipation keeps them engaged. Stay grounded in the present moment. Don't dwell on what's behind you or worry about what lies ahead. Being fully present makes you seem more confident, more self-assured, and that's incredibly attractive. Think about your favorite celebrities or public figures, the ones who hold back, who keep a certain level of mystery. They're the ones who captivate us. The less they reveal, the more intriguing they become. In movies and TV shows, the most captivating love stories unfold slowly. There's a certain magic in the build-up, the gradual revealing of each character. That slow burn romance keeps the audience hooked. And who doesn't love a good plot twist, a surprise ending that catches us off guard and leaves us wanting more? The same principle applies in real life. When you keep some things to yourself, you create that same sense of excitement and anticipation. Mystery is the art of leaving them wanting more. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, not from external validation or approval. By maintaining some mystery, you're not seeking validation from others. You're comfortable in your own skin and not afraid to let people get to know you at their own pace. As contemporary Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, the Stoic ideal is not to be a cold, emotionless robot, but rather to be in control of one's emotions so that they don't control us. By maintaining some mystery, you're demonstrating emotional control and self-assurance. You're not letting your need for validation dictate your actions or your interactions with others. Maintaining some mystery is a powerful tool for becoming a priority in someone's life. It creates intrigue, sparks curiosity, and makes people want to invest more time and energy in getting to know you. So embrace the lure of the enigmatic. Don't be afraid to keep some cards close to your chest. Let people discover the depths of your personality at their own pace. And remember, the most captivating stories are often the ones that unfold slowly, revealing their secrets one page at a time. Strategy 4. Let them invest in you. Let's move on to strategy 4. Let them invest in you. This is about understanding the psychology behind investment. The more someone invests in you, whether it's time, effort, or emotional energy, the more they will value you. This principle is simple, but its implications for building and maintaining relationships are profound. Think about it. When you buy a cheap, mass-produced item, you don't usually give it much thought. It's easily replaceable, so you don't feel particularly attached to it. But when you invest in something valuable, something that requires time, effort, or money to acquire, you tend to cherish it more. You take care of it, you appreciate it, and you're less likely to let it go. The same principle applies to relationships. When someone invests in you by spending time with you, listening to your problems, supporting your dreams, they develop a sense of ownership and attachment. They've put something of themselves into the relationship, and that makes them value it more. The Stoics, those wise philosophers from ancient Greece and Rome, were all about understanding the true nature of value. They believed that external things like wealth or fame were ultimately indifferent. What mattered was our character, our virtue, and our actions. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. In other words, true value comes from within. It's not about what others give you, but about what you bring to the table. But here's an interesting twist. When you allow others to invest in you, you're giving them the opportunity to create their own sense of value in the relationship. You're allowing them to contribute, to participate, and to feel like they're a part of something meaningful. We all need help sometimes, whether it's moving furniture, talking through a problem, or getting advice on a tough decision. Asking for help isn't a weakness. It's a way to strengthen the bond between you and those around you. When someone compliments you, don't downplay it. Don't brush it off. Accept it with gratitude. Acknowledge the effort they made to recognize your worth. Let their words land and appreciate the moment. Always express your appreciation. Let people know you value what they've done for you. A simple thank you can mean more than you realize. It shows that you see their effort and that it matters. Think of a DIY project. When you build something yourself, whether it's a piece of furniture or a home-cooked meal, it holds more meaning. You've invested your time and effort, and that creates a sense of pride. That's why you appreciate it more than something pre-made. Volunteers often talk about feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Why? Because they're contributing to something bigger than themselves. That sense of value and purpose is something you can't buy. It's earned. And think about a promotion that comes after years of hard work. It feels different than one that's handed to you. It's more rewarding because you've invested time, energy, and effort. And that's what makes it truly valuable. The things we invest in, whether it's people, projects, or our own growth, those are the things that hold the most meaning. Remember, it's all about finding the right balance. You want to allow others to invest in you, but you also need to be mindful of their boundaries and limitations. Don't take advantage of their generosity or expect them to always be there for you. As contemporary Stoic philosopher William B. Irvine puts it, the goal of Stoicism is to live a happy life, and one way to do this is to avoid becoming overly dependent on things that are outside our control. So, allow others to invest in you, but don't become reliant on their investment for your own happiness or self-worth. Cultivate your own inner strength and value, and let their investment be a complement to your own self-worth, not the sole source of it. Strategy 5. Prioritize your own needs. Let's get real for a minute with strategy 5. Prioritize your own needs. This isn't about being selfish. It's about understanding that you can't expect others to prioritize you if you don't prioritize yourself. It's about recognizing your own worth and making choices that support your overall well-being. The Stoics talked a lot about eudaimonia, which means flourishing or living well. This concept is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's about living a life of virtue in accordance with nature and reason. And guess what? You can't achieve eudaimonia if you're constantly neglecting your own needs and putting everyone else first. The Stoics understood that true happiness and fulfillment come from within. It's not about external validation or approval, but about living a life that's aligned with your values and purpose. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So, how does this translate into becoming a priority in someone else's life? It's simple. You can't expect others to prioritize you if you don't prioritize yourself. Think about it. If you're constantly running on empty, neglecting your own health, happiness, and dreams, you're not showing up as your best self. You're not radiating the kind of energy and confidence that attracts others and makes them want to invest in you. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Self-love often gets a bad rap. It's associated with narcissism, selfishness, and an inflated ego. But true self-love is none of those things. It's about recognizing your own worth, respecting your own boundaries, and making choices that support your overall well-being. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would extend to a loved one. As contemporary Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, self-love is not about being selfish or narcissistic. It's about recognizing that you are a valuable human being and that you deserve to be treated with respect, both by yourself and by others. When you prioritize your own needs, it creates a ripple effect that extends into all areas of your life, including your relationships. When you take care of yourself, you radiate confidence, self-assurance. That's what makes you more attractive to others. You're not relying on anyone else for your happiness or validation, and that independence draws people in. By prioritizing your own needs, you learn to set healthy boundaries. You show others that you respect yourself and your time, and in return, you earn their respect. It's about knowing what you deserve and not settling for less. When you value yourself, you attract people who value you. You find yourself in relationships that are mutually supportive, where both people give and receive in equal measure. It's fulfilling, and it's what real connection is all about. Think of the burnt-out employee, the one who's always staying late, sacrificing personal time for their job. They might be successful in their career, but often they're unfulfilled in other parts of their life. Success at work doesn't always equal happiness. Then there's the people pleaser, always putting others first, bending over backward to meet everyone's needs. They might be well liked, but deep down, they often feel resentment. They feel taken for granted because they're constantly giving without receiving. And finally, the self-care advocate. They prioritize their own well-being, physically and mentally. They might not always be available, but when they are, they're fully present. They're happier, more fulfilled, and that makes them the kind of person people want to be around. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. When you invest in yourself, you become the best version of who you are, and that's who others are drawn to. The Stoics challenge us to examine our priorities and make sure that we're not neglecting our own needs in the pursuit of external validation or approval. As Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." So take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you prioritizing your needs? Are you taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being? If not, it's time to make some changes. Remember, you're not being selfish by prioritizing your needs. You're simply recognizing your own worth and taking responsibility for your own happiness. And when you do that, you'll naturally become a priority in the lives of those who truly matter. Strategy 6. Build a strong personal identity. Let's talk about building a strong personal identity. This strategy is crucial because it lays the foundation for how others perceive you. A strong personal identity isn't just about knowing who you are. It's about living authentically and consistently, aligning your actions with your core values. When you have a clear sense of self, you stand out. You're not just another person blending into the background. You become someone memorable, someone who people are naturally drawn to and want to prioritize in their lives. But why is this so important? People are naturally attracted to confidence and authenticity. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you exude a sense of certainty and purpose. It's not about being arrogant or boastful. It's about being secure in your own skin, no matter the situation. This kind of self-assurance is incredibly magnetic. It not only draws people in, but also encourages them to respect and value your presence. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires self-reflection, honesty, and consistent action. Let's break down how you can cultivate a strong personal identity in a way that commands respect and recognition. The first step in building a strong personal identity is defining your core values. These are the principles that guide your decisions and actions, your moral compass. Ask yourself, what matters most to me? What are the principles I refuse to compromise on, no matter the situation? Take the time to reflect and write down your top 5 core values. They might be integrity, loyalty, compassion, courage, or creativity. Be honest with yourself. These values should resonate deeply, not just reflect what others expect of you. Once you've defined your core values, it's time to align your actions with them. This is where the real challenge begins. It's easy to talk about values, but living by them, especially when it's difficult or inconvenient, is another matter. For example, if integrity is a core value, commit to being truthful in all situations, even when a lie would make things easier. If courage is important to you, look for opportunities to face your fears and push outside your comfort zone. By consistently aligning your actions with your values, you build a reputation for authenticity and reliability, qualities that naturally command respect. Your values shouldn't be a mystery to those around you. Be open about what you stand for. This doesn't mean you need to preach or boast. Let your actions speak. If fairness is one of your values, show it in your interactions by treating everyone with respect and equality, whether at work or with friends. People respect those who are clear about what they stand for. When you communicate your values through your actions, others know where you stand, and that fosters trust. This kind of clarity helps in building a strong identity that people remember and respect. Your identity isn't just about values, it's also about what makes you unique. Too often, we hide our quirks or passions in an effort to fit in. But embracing what makes you different is a strength. Your unique experiences, perspectives, and talents are what set you apart. Ask yourself, what makes me different from everyone else? What are my unique strengths or passions? Whether it's a hobby, a special skill, or a distinct way of thinking, embrace these qualities. When you're true to yourself, you not only stand out, but you also attract people who appreciate you for who you are. Consistency is key to building a strong identity. It's not enough to occasionally act in line with your values. You need to do so consistently. People respect and trust those who are predictable in their principles. Being inconsistent can erode trust and make others hesitant to rely on you. Being authentic means staying true to who you are, even when it's tough. Don't change to fit in or be liked. The right people will appreciate you for your genuine self. When you're authentic and consistent, you build trust. And trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. Think of the fair manager who consistently advocates for transparency and fairness in the workplace, standing up for team members and addressing conflicts openly. This commitment earns them respect and trust from colleagues who know they stand for integrity, or the reliable friend who is always there, reflecting values of kindness and empathy. They check in on friends regularly and offer support without expecting anything in return. This consistency makes them someone others rely on in times of need. Then there's the honest partner who values open communication and is always upfront about their feelings. They encourage their partner to do the same, building a foundation of trust that makes them indispensable in the relationship. A strong personal identity commands respect and draws people in. When you know who you are and live in alignment with your values, people take notice. They see you as someone worth investing in, someone who adds value to their lives. This naturally elevates your status in their eyes and makes you a priority. Moreover, when you build a strong personal identity, you're not just doing it for others, you're doing it for yourself. You're laying the foundation for a life that's true to who you are, a life that is fulfilling and aligned with your deepest values. So take the time to define your core values, align your actions with them, communicate them clearly, embrace your uniqueness, and be consistent and authentic in everything you do. It's one of the most powerful ways to get the recognition you deserve and to live a life that's truly in line with who you are. Strategy 7. Show appreciation and gratitude. Let's move on to the 7th strategy, showing appreciation and gratitude. This strategy might sound simple, but its impact is profound. When you make a habit of showing genuine appreciation, you're not just being polite. You're actively building stronger connections and increasing your value in the eyes of others. People want to feel seen and valued, and showing appreciation is one of the most effective ways to make them feel that way. Why is showing gratitude so powerful? At its core, appreciation is about acknowledgement. It's about recognizing the efforts, qualities, and contributions of those around you. When you show someone that you notice and value what they do, it creates a positive emotional response. It makes them feel respected and cherished. And when people feel valued, they're more likely to prioritize those who make them feel that way. But showing appreciation isn't just about saying thank you now and then. It's about cultivating a deeper, more consistent practice of gratitude that genuinely reflects how much you value others. Let's explore how you can effectively show appreciation in a way that strengthens your relationships and helps you get the recognition you deserve. The first key to showing appreciation is to be specific and sincere. General thanks like, "Thanks for everything," can feel empty. Instead, be detailed about what you're thankful for and why it matters. Instead of saying, "Thanks for your help," say, "Thank you for taking the time to help me prepare for that presentation. Your insights gave me the confidence I needed." By being specific, you show the other person you notice the details of their actions and truly value their unique contributions. It makes your gratitude feel more genuine and meaningful, strengthening the bond between you. Gratitude shouldn't be a one-time gesture. It should be consistent. When you express appreciation regularly, it becomes a natural part of your interactions. Consistency shows that you don't take the other person's efforts for granted and you genuinely value them. Make it a habit to find something to appreciate every day. Whether it's thanking a colleague for their hard work, expressing gratitude to a friend for their support, or acknowledging your partner for their kindness, regular expressions of gratitude can greatly enhance your relationships. Don't limit yourself to just verbal thank yous. Use multiple ways to show your appreciation. A handwritten note, a thoughtful text message, or even a small gift can have a big impact. The effort you put into expressing gratitude in different ways shows you're willing to go the extra mile to acknowledge someone's efforts. For example, if a friend has been there for you during a tough time, consider writing them a heartfelt letter. If a colleague has gone above and beyond at work, a small token like their favorite coffee can show you recognize their contributions. When expressing gratitude, highlight the impact of the other person's actions. Don't just say, "Thank you for helping me." Instead, explain how their help made a difference. For example, "Your support during that project was invaluable. It really helped me stay on track." By doing this, you make the other person feel good about their contribution, and it encourages them to keep investing in the relationship. They feel like what they're doing truly matters. Encouraging a culture of gratitude isn't just about what you say, it's also about what you inspire in others. Create an environment where appreciation is regularly expressed. In a workplace, you might start meetings by sharing positive feedback. In personal relationships, lead by example by expressing gratitude openly. When others see you consistently showing appreciation, they're more likely to do the same. This creates a positive cycle where everyone feels valued, fostering a supportive and encouraging environment that strengthens relationships. Think about the manager who regularly thanks their team, both privately and publicly. By consistently acknowledging contributions, they build a motivated and loyal team that feels valued. Or the friend who remembers birthdays and celebrates milestones with personalized notes or small gifts. That kind of consistent appreciation keeps them cherished by their friends. Then there's the partner who frequently expresses gratitude for the everyday acts of kindness. By doing this, they strengthen the emotional bond and cultivate a supportive, loving relationship. Showing appreciation and gratitude is a powerful way to build deeper, more meaningful connections. When people feel valued and acknowledged, they're more likely to reciprocate that positivity. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also increases your visibility and importance in their lives. Furthermore, gratitude is beneficial for your well-being. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can lead to better mental health, increased happiness, and even physical health benefits. So, by cultivating a habit of appreciation, you're not just enhancing your relationships, you're also enhancing your overall quality of life. So start making gratitude a regular practice. Be specific, consistent, and creative in how you show appreciation. Highlight the impact of others' actions and foster a culture of gratitude around you. As you do, You'll notice a shift in how people respond to you. They'll see you as someone who values them, and in turn, they'll be more likely to prioritize you. Strategy 8. Master the art of active listening. Let's move on to Strategy 8. Mastering the art of active listening. Active listening is more than just hearing the words someone says. It's about truly understanding and engaging with the person speaking. This strategy is a game changer in building strong, meaningful relationships. When you actively listen, you make people feel valued, respected, and understood, which naturally makes them more inclined to prioritize you. Why is active listening so effective? In today's world, where everyone is constantly distracted by notifications, social media, and a busy schedule, genuine listening is a rare and precious gift. When you give someone your full attention, you're not just listening, you're creating a connection. You're saying, "I'm here with you, fully present." This deepens trust and respect, two fundamental elements in any strong relationship. So, how can you master the art of active listening and use it to get the recognition you deserve? Let's break it down into practical steps. The first step to becoming an active listener is to eliminate distractions. This means putting away your phone, closing your laptop, and giving your full attention to the person speaking. Distractions make you seem disengaged, which can harm your relationships over time. When you eliminate distractions, you show the other person that their words matter. For example, if you're chatting with a friend at a coffee shop, put your phone on silent and face down. It signals that you're fully present and focused on them. Body language speaks volumes. Use open and welcoming gestures to show you're engaged. Make eye contact, nod occasionally, and lean slightly forward. Avoid crossing your arms or looking around the room, as these can signal disinterest. In a meeting, if a colleague is sharing an idea, maintain eye contact and nod when appropriate. These small cues make the speaker feel heard and valued. Reflective listening is key. It involves paraphrasing what the speaker has said to ensure you've understood correctly. This shows that you're engaged and helps clarify misunderstandings. For example, if a friend is sharing a challenge at work, you might say, "So what I'm hearing is that you're feeling overwhelmed with the new project." This reflection shows you're interested, encouraging them to open up more. Ask open-ended questions. These encourage the speaker to elaborate, fostering deeper conversations. Instead of asking, "Did you have a good day?" try, "What was the most interesting part of your day?" or "How did that situation at work play out?" This shows that you're genuinely interested in their thoughts and experiences, not just going through the motions. Avoid interrupting or offering unsolicited advice. A common mistake is to jump in with advice before the person has finished speaking. This can make them feel rushed. Instead, practice patience and let them finish before responding. For example, if a colleague is sharing concerns about a project, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions. Let them finish their thoughts first. Often, people just want to feel heard. Active listening also involves recognizing the emotions behind the words. When someone is sharing something personal or emotional, it's important to validate their feelings. For example, if a friend is frustrated about a situation, instead of minimizing their feelings, you might say, "I can see how that would be really frustrating for you." This validation deepens the connection by showing understanding. A great way to show you're actively listening is to follow up after conversations. If someone mentioned a challenge or event, check in with them later to see how it went. This shows that you not only listened, but also remembered and cared enough to ask. For example, if a coworker was nervous about a presentation, ask the next day how it went. This small act shows you value their experience, making them more likely to prioritize you in return. Consider the manager who practices active listening in team meetings, giving each person full attention, reflecting what they've heard, and asking thoughtful questions. This creates an inclusive environment where everyone feels valued, boosting morale and productivity. Or think about a friend going through a tough time. They feel truly heard because you listened without interrupting, validated their feelings, and followed up later. They'll likely prioritize your relationship because they know you genuinely care. In a romantic relationship, active listening can prevent misunderstandings and deepen emotional intimacy. When your partner shares their feelings, listening actively and responding with empathy strengthens the bond, making both partners feel more connected. Mastering the art of active listening is crucial because it transforms your relationships from surface level to meaningful connections. When you listen actively, you build trust, empathy, and understanding, all of which are fundamental for deep, lasting relationships. People will naturally gravitate towards you because you offer them something rare, the experience of being truly heard and valued. Moreover, being known as a good listener enhances your reputation as someone who is empathetic, considerate, and emotionally intelligent. These qualities make you stand out in any setting, whether it's at work, among friends, or in your personal life. People will prioritize you because you make them feel understood and appreciated. So start practicing active listening today. Eliminate distractions, use positive body language, ask open-ended questions, and validate emotions. Watch as your relationships deepen and others begin to see you as an indispensable part of their lives. Strategy: be willing to walk away. Finally, let's discuss the 9th strategy, being willing to walk away. This might sound counterintuitive when we're talking about becoming a priority in someone's life, but sometimes the most powerful way to command respect and recognition is to show that you value yourself enough to walk away from situations that don't serve you. It's about setting boundaries and knowing your worth. Why is being willing to walk away so effective? When you're willing to walk away, you're demonstrating self-respect and confidence. You're making it clear that you won't settle for less than you deserve. This kind of self-assurance is compelling. It makes others see you as someone who knows their value and isn't afraid to stand up for themselves. It forces people to reconsider how they treat you and whether they're willing to lose you. Walking away isn't about playing games or creating drama. It's about recognizing when a situation or relationship isn't meeting your needs and having the courage to leave. Let's break down how you can effectively use this strategy to earn the recognition and respect you deserve. The first step in being willing to walk away is knowing your worth. Understand what you bring to the table, your strengths, talents, and the positive energy you contribute to any relationship. When you recognize your own value, it becomes easier to set boundaries and to know when those boundaries are being crossed. Set clear boundaries for what you will and won't tolerate in your relationships. These could be emotional, physical, or professional boundaries. For example, if you're in a friendship where you're always giving but rarely receiving, it might be time to reassess the relationship. Make it clear what you expect and what you're unwilling to accept. It's crucial to regularly evaluate your relationships and situations to see if they align with your values and needs. Ask yourself, is this relationship adding value to my life? Am I being respected and appreciated? If the answer is no, it might be time to consider walking away. For instance, if you're in a job where your contributions are constantly overlooked or undervalued, or if you're in a relationship where you're not getting the respect you deserve, recognize that staying in such situations can harm your self-esteem and happiness. Once you've recognized that a situation isn't serving you, be prepared to take action. Walking away doesn't always mean a dramatic exit. It can be a gradual process of distancing yourself or setting firmer boundaries. It might mean having a tough conversation or making a difficult decision. For example, if you're in a toxic friendship, you might start by reducing the time you spend with that person. If it's a job that's not fulfilling, start looking for new opportunities while gradually disengaging from your current role. The key is to be ready to move on when it's clear that staying isn't in your best interest. Walking away requires courage, especially when you care deeply about the relationship or situation. But remember, it's not about the immediate outcome. It's about long-term self-respect and well-being. Be prepared for the possibility that some people might not come after you or try to make amends, and that's okay. For instance, if you decide to leave a job where you're undervalued, there's a chance your employer won't fight to keep you. But this decision opens up opportunities for roles where your skills and talents will be fully recognized and appreciated. Embrace the uncertainty and trust that walking away is a step toward something better. Consider the career change of someone who has worked at a company for years but continually feels overlooked for promotions and raises. Despite their hard work and dedication, they're not receiving the recognition they deserve. By deciding to leave and pursue opportunities elsewhere, they find a company that values their contributions, offers them a better role, and compensates them fairly. This decision not only boosts their career, but also their self-esteem. Or think about someone in a long-term friendship that has become one-sided. They're always the one making plans, offering support, and being there, while their friend rarely reciprocates. After realizing this imbalance, they decide to step back and stop initiating contact. Over time, their friend notices the absence and starts making more of an effort, ultimately valuing the relationship more. Or in some cases, the friendship fades, making room for more balanced and fulfilling relationships. In a romantic relationship, one partner may feel their needs are constantly being overlooked. After several attempts to communicate their feelings with no change, they decide to walk away. This action forces the other partner to realize the impact of their behavior. In some cases, this can lead to a positive shift in the relationship dynamic, with both partners working to make things better. In other cases, it might mean ending a relationship that was no longer healthy, freeing both parties to find happiness elsewhere. Being willing to walk away is one of the most powerful ways to command respect and get the recognition you deserve. It shows that you know your worth and that you won't settle for anything less than you deserve. It's a clear signal to others that they need to value you or risk losing you. Moreover, this strategy reinforces your self-respect and helps you build a life that aligns with your values and needs. It's not about fear or avoidance, it's about courage and self-assurance. You're not afraid to take a stand for yourself and your well-being, and that kind of confidence is incredibly compelling. So know your worth, set clear boundaries, and don't be afraid to walk away from situations that don't serve you. Remember, sometimes the best way to be a priority in someone's life is to show them you're willing to be a priority in your own life first. There you have it. 9 powerful tactics grounded in psychology and stoic wisdom to help you become a priority in someone's life. Remember, it's not about changing who you are or playing games. It's about understanding how relationships work and making sure you're putting yourself in a position where you're truly valued. By applying these strategies, you can start to see a shift in how others perceive and prioritize you. People will see your value, and you'll feel more appreciated and recognized for who you are and what you bring to the table. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how these strategies are working for you. Until next time, take care and keep shining.